definitely. We're just 8 days into the year of 2020, but man, I'm just looking forward to this year. It's gonna be awesome. Getting closer to finishing college eventually. Right now, I think I got maybe 2 years. So far, we're almost there. We're almost there, and I can't wait to definitely share that with you guys on my journey as when I'm finally finished with college. Because it's been a while. But today, I want to just talk about just things you might not know about quadriplegics that maybe people don't share. Because it's been an injury for years, but maybe not a lot of people know about it because not a lot of people talk about it sometimes. Sometimes I feel like when we're in this injury, we take some time to kind of want to talk about things because we're just like, it's a whole different life. For some people it's devastating, and I'm sure everyone is like, man, what happened? We're still living in that moment of what happened, and but I think it's interesting to just give you a couple things that maybe you might not know about quadriplegics, but they're definitely interesting things that maybe when I talk to people and they ask and they're like, whoa, I didn't know that. That's crazy. So I think it's fun. It's always cool to just talk, and let people know, hey, if they're aware of certain things that you might not be able to do, maybe when you're trying to go out with some friends, or just some stuff that you can't do, stuff that you could do. And I think it's just good to just be open and talk to your friends and let them know, hey, this is just maybe something I might not be able to do. And I'm sure your other friends, they'll understand. They'll understand. So just be patient with that. But I guess the first thing that I didn't know, not even me, I had no idea until like maybe I got home and I started realizing it's nerve pain. Nerve pain is just something that happens different occasions. Everybody's different. Some people feel it more. Some people take medication. I think when I first got out of the hospital, I had medication for it, but eventually my doctor just took me off of it because I wasn't really feeling that pain where it was like excruciating pain where I could just bear it. But sometimes it does happen. Like right now we're in this whole January season, the whole winter season, and all that. It gets kind of cold, so sometimes my arms, I'll feel like starting like nerve pain, a little like stinging around the arms, and usually I feel it more on my right hand, I think I would say. So I get that little nerve pain sometimes, and it happens sometimes when it's cold, or sometimes when I'm at night on campus, I get that nerve pain, and I feel like, man, it starts to hurt a lot in my hand. So usually, I think what I do is that's why I just you see me wear a lot of long sleeves and sweaters just because for anything that when it's cold, it could affect that. And I haven't asked my doctor what's the reason for it, but I guess it's just part of the spinal cord injury. Yeah, you just kind of get that nerve pain as something that's normal, I guess, that happens to people. So it's one thing that maybe you might not know about quadriplegics, but we do get nerve pain sometimes, and it's different. Some people use all different kinds of products just to get rid of it. For me, thankfully I don't have to use any medication. It's just I just usually cover myself, and I just if it's really cold, I probably won't go out. I'll just stay in because it's not gonna be a good time. I'm just probably gonna be, cold, and I'm gonna be hurting in my hands. So it's like but sometimes I try to just toughen it out. Be like, hey, it's all, it hurts, but whatever, you know. But hey, something that if you do need the medication for it, definitely ask your doctor because some people do need it, and some people it helps. But for me, in my case, I guess I don't really need it. It's just when it gets cold, that's the time. But usually right now, I think this whole month of December, that I've been on with the heater. So I'm like, I definitely wouldn't be able to survive if I lived outside of California because, man, boy, that nerve pain would be terrible thinking about it. I'm just like, man, because I have, I know people that live out there in Iowa, and people that live out, out there in Maine, and people that live out there in New York. Imagine those people, like how cold it is out there. Oh, it's terrible. So I wouldn't be able to live out there, definitely. So that's one thing for sure that quadriplegics, you might not know about them, is nerve pain. Do you get nerve pain? Another thing what's really interesting, and I just when I found out about it, I was like, really, whoa, that's crazy. Like wow, that's crazy. How does that happen? But is quadriplegics, a lot of them don't sweat from their face. Some do, but I guess in my case, I'm complete. I don't know if that has to do with or that's the reason behind me not be able to sweat. But I usually don't sweat from my face. I don't think I've ever from my accident, even when it's been really hot, I've never ever like sweat from my face. And it's kind of weird because it's something that I've just been used to all my life, So sweating is like, yeah, I guess I don't sweat. So I guess the good thing about that is that no body odor or stuff like that or strong, smell. So that's good. That's the perks of it. But the bad thing is when it's hot, I do overheat, because it gets really hot, and basically the only way for me to release the heat is either by me drinking water or putting a wet towel on my head or something like that. And that's usually the only way or getting in the shade. That's usually the only way. So usually when it's hot, yeah, I usually tend to probably I'll stay inside, or just stay away from the sun, because definitely even since I can't sweat, I can't release that heat out. Then that's just one thing that it could probably hinder me from wanting to go out. But the good thing is that I can control it. I can just stay under the shade and just not be exposed too much to the sun, and I'll be fine usually. It's not a big problem, but definitely is interesting though. It's one thing that you might not know, but it's interesting because yeah, you would think, well, it's crazy. I never thought you could lose that ability to sweat. It's a crazy thing, But yeah, I don't. I guess it's just weird. Like I don't sweat from my face at all, or from my neck. Nothing. It's weird. I have no idea why. Another thing you might not know is called spasms. Spasms is just when I guess you probably might see it. People watch this, their legs will shake. So it just depends on some people. Some people have them heavier than others. Some like I have a couple buddies of mine that their spasms shake a lot. Like their legs shake a lot. But for me, in my case, nah, it's rare. Like I think it only happens when I stretch my leg out. That's probably the only time it happens when I really stretch my leg out. I think that's when like I do get a spasm. It's probably when I shake my leg, when I stretch my leg out, or when I'm transferring into bed and my leg will start to shake a little bit. But then it's like only like 10 seconds, maybe at most, and then it goes back to it. But spasms are not really like an issue for me, and I'm glad they aren't because they say sometimes it's good because it keeps blood flow going when you have a spasm, and it basically shakes like your legs, so it makes the blood flow. But the bad thing is sometimes it can hinder you from transferring into a car or transferring your bed because it's like your legs are shaking. So then it's like unstable. But for me, thank God in my case, I don't really shake like that. It's just more like a little stretch or something like that. If I stretch, it's like a little, it looks like I guess like a cramp. But that's a spasm. I think, I don't know if you didn't know that, but quadriplegics, majority of them have spasms and some have it worse than others. I guess it just depends on the injury level, or it depends on either you're incomplete or complete. There's just a lot of factors to it. But in my case, I don't spasm a lot. I spasm a little bit, but it's not an issue where it hinders me from being able to move around or live independently. So that's always a plus. So definitely thankful for that. And then the last thing I would say is there's many more, but I guess these are things that I just really noticed is the mental challenges sometimes. Sometimes there's mental health problems with that, or it leads to other stuff with being a quadriplegic. And maybe not, people just not talking about it. They just keep it inside and don't talk about it. And I think maybe for me, it's good having a channel like that because I can just kind of talk about stuff sometimes that you kind of keep bottled in all the time, and it's good. It's good to let it out. And I think so far I've been pretty good. I haven't dealt with depression or any of that kind of stuff where I felt in any way like that. I've always felt pretty good, and thank God I felt good. Mental challenges definitely are real, and there's people out there that are struggling with that. And if you are, that's your case and you're watching this video right now, definitely it's okay to seek help. It's not an issue. Don't feel like you're weird because you won't have to go to a therapist and talk to them and let them know how you're doing. That's okay. Everybody has different challenges, and we all take them different. We all take a different approach. For my case, I've never really dealt with depression or anything like that, but there is people that struggle with mental challenges, and quadriplegics could be that, because maybe sometimes they feel, oh man, society expects me to be this and that, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I'm in the street and I'll see people walking around and you just think like, dang, like it's crazy, I can't do that no more, but hey, this is the life I've been given, and that's okay, that's fine. I've learned how to adapt, and I'm learning how to adapt, and that's okay. And so I'll be honest, like I'll see sometimes dads with their kids, and like for me that's always been a thing. I've always wanted to be a parent one day, hopefully have my own kids, and then it's like you always think about that kind of stuff. Like you see them doing stuff, you're like, dang, like I won't be able to do what he's doing with this kid, in the future if I have kids. But hey, I just learned. I know that there's different ways, and then maybe there's a different thing that I might be able to do with a kid that I have, things might be different for me. So maybe those type of things you feel like, man, you're just not enough. Sometimes you might feel like that, but don't feel like that. There's always ways to adapt, and just know that there's ways that you can change and do better and improve yourself. Definitely. So it's not impossible, definitely, but there is gonna be some adjustments that you might have to make in your life. And that's good. That's okay. That's okay, because life is just like that. Regardless if you're a quadriplegic or not, or whatever you're dealing with, you're always gonna have to make adjustments to certain situations in your life. And for me, it's a challenge, but hey, definitely not impossible. You can do it. As I've been doing it these past years, I've been able to go back to school, and you would think, man, this guy has I literally have no finger function, and it's like, it's crazy how I can even operate my computer or even handwrite. with me having no like finger function, that's nuts. But hey, you know, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. And you know, don't hold yourself short. If you know, if you think about going back to school, definitely there's resources. And I think I've posted a video before. You check that out where it talks about the technology that I use as a quadriplegic. So if you're a quadriplegic thinking about going back to school, or thinking about, man, what am I gonna do after this? Am I gonna be able to work? Go ahead and look at that video. You know, I share a little bit about my experience, and me as an engineering student, I'm doing it. You know, hey, I'm going to school, I'm finishing school, and if I could do it, you know, you could do it. Just look for different alternatives. Just learn how, you know, there's different ways. It might be difficult, but you can definitely adapt and you can figure it out. You know, and don't let those mental challenges take over you. Don't let that be the thing that kind of keeps you down. Like, if your life for a reason, and definitely keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. I know it might be tough, and it's tough for me. Don't get me wrong. I might be smiling all the time and look like I'm happy, but life sometimes can be tough, definitely. But hey, you know, you can do it too as well. I'm back in school, and you can be back in school and back in work too. And you know, I never thought it could happen, but hey, it's happening, and I'm like excited, definitely, to be able to do that. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And you know, if you like this video, feel free to like it and comment below. And if you have any other questions, maybe about other things, you know, feel free to leave, you know, in the comment below, and I'll definitely try to be more consistent this year and update you guys with some more stuff. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you guys.